Happy Easter, everyone. And thank you, all of you, for giving us such beautiful music. Easter is about music and also looking really pretty. I see all of you dressed up. And that's part of Easter too, is to renew ourselves inside and outside, to give that light of Christ, let it shine in ourselves. So Easter is full of symbolisms of spring. There's the Easter bunny, there's Easter eggs, and how many people want chocolate Easter eggs? Yes, chocolate Easter eggs. And all those, yes?
There might be some chocolate bunnies.
Ooh. My favorite. So those.
I got chocolate at my house.
Oh, hey! You already have chocolate at your house.
That is pretty awesome.
So these are symbols of spring. You know how in the wintertime the trees look really dead? They don't have any leaves on them. They're really brown and barren. And then in spring, this force of life comes up and it makes all the trees fill with leaves and there's flowers everywhere. That's a symbol of resurrection. The resurrection that we can find in our own hearts. And that resurrection, Easter, also is about a very special person. Now, who is this story about? Jesus. And this is a picture of Jesus here. This is a very special picture of Jesus. Is Jesus also on the altar? Do you see a picture of Jesus there? Elijah?
In the middle.
In the middle. That's right. This is Jesus. And Jesus is always on our altar, along with all the other yoga masters, because Jesus and the yoga masters all taught the same truth. And so when you guys are usually in Sunday school, we are having service in here, and we read words of Jesus, and we read words from the Bhagavad Gita, which is a great scripture of yoga, and we talk about how those words from Jesus and from yoga are all the same truth. This is a really tough audience today. So Jesus lived a long time ago. Jesus lived a very long time ago. Does anybody remember how long ago Jesus lived? Jyotish?
2017.
Perfect, 2017 years ago. Now, how old are you? Think about how old you are, and then think about how long 2,000 years are. Now, how old are you? How old are you?
5 and 5 months and 11 minutes.
Okay. And how many minutes? So 5 years old. Anybody else? Jaden, how old are you?
6 years old.
6 years old. You like it? 7. And Jyotish?
10.
10. And you're 11. And how many of us are 50, 60, 70, 85? So that seems like a really long time, but when you think about even 85, 95 years compared to 2,000 years, that's a really long time. And the thing of it is, people are still talking about what Jesus said. And the teachings of Jesus are just as relevant. They mean just as much to us today as they did 2,000 years ago. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So one of the things that Jesus taught is that we have to love God with all our hearts, with all our minds, and with all of our energy. And if we do that, and if we don't think about ourselves and we're not selfish and we don't just want everything that we want to care about other people too. When we do that, you know what happens? We're happy. Does anybody want to be happy? Yeah. And just like when you're in school and you want to pass the test, you know, you want to do good in school. You want to do really well in school. So what do? You study. You do schoolwork, yeah. And if we want to be happy in life, if we want to know how to make the right choices, if we want to do the things that will make us happy, don't give up. You should be giving this sermon. Right. Don't give up and study. Study yourself. Study yourself and study the words of Jesus and the words of these great masters, because they show us how to make the right choices. The choices at school, the world of school. They show us how to make the right choices so that we can be happy. If we tune our will to God's will like Jesus did, even if it seems hard, it will all come out right in the end, and we just can't give up. Happy Easter. And there's going to be a very special surprise at the end of service. So it's a secret, don't tell anybody yet, but you have something to look forward to. And it might involve chocolate eggs.
Well, I want to tell a little story that also touches on chocolate eggs. Because in my family growing up, we had a little tradition on Easter morning, hello, thank you, where before we would go to Sunday service, like this Sunday service, we would have to our parents would have made Easter baskets for us. And those Easter baskets had wonderful chocolate and all kinds of yummy things in them. But there was a trick, which was we had to find the Easter baskets. And I have 2 sisters, so there were 3 Easter baskets. And, well, you know, in the beginning when we were really little, like maybe 4 or 5 or 6 years old, they made it pretty easy to find the Easter baskets. But as we got older, like 8 or 9 or 10 years old, it got pretty challenging to find those Easter baskets. And, you know, if you think of parents and how a good parent can appropriately challenge their child in a nice way, in a good way, think of, you know, have you ever had your child come and say, "Mom, I want you to really test me good. I want to have a good challenge." Well, we had kind of done that. Like we had done that a couple times. And so came Easter one morning and, God, we couldn't find those baskets. I mean, we went everywhere. We went all through the whole house. I mean, it was to the point, you know, if it gets too close to Sunday service, then you have to leave. And I mean, the thought of leaving and not having had chocolate before, I mean, it was too awesome to be able to have chocolate in the morning before Sunday service. I mean, to miss that would not have been fun. But I mean, we were close to tears, you know. So I mean, it's like you think of a parent has to challenge the child just enough Well, that's kind of like what God does with us sometimes. He challenges us a lot, and it's really hard to stay still when you want to zoom around. You know, it's Easter morning, you want to race, it's all very exciting. Well, that is like what God does with us. And we have to learn to flow with that. And we see the example in this little story that was being read about Easter morning. Thomas shows up. Anybody remember what Thomas did? Do you guys remember? Thomas was the one who said, I won't believe that it's really Jesus unless I can touch him and see him with my own eyeballs. And he finally did. And Jesus said something to him. You remember what Jesus said? It's kind of Old English, so it's a little hard to say because it's not the way we talk exactly. But he said, blessed, you have seen and you believe now, but blessed are those who have believed without seeing. That's a very interesting thing because it seems to say, oh, well, you should just always believe. But what Jesus was saying is, when you don't believe in your life, in your heart, when you don't believe that there's something greater, that there's a truth there, it's not a very nice feeling inside. It feels kind of... And now, here's a test for all the adults. What happened to Thomas? Saint Thomas. Where did St. Thomas go? Anybody know? You know.
To India.
He went to India. He did. He went to Madras. He went to Chennai. And there is a church dedicated to him there. And I suspect, I have this little intuitive sense that he was sent to India, partly to learn the lesson of how to believe. How to know the truth before you see the truth, before you see and touch it. You know that it's going to be there. And that's something that we can, all of us, learn. Whether we are this tall or this tall, we can, all of us, learn to open, because this is not these eyes. Thomas was looking at the world through these two eyes, but there's other eyes that we have. There's one here. It's on our forehead, and it's not so much a physical eye, but there's also the eye of the heart. And when you can feel from your heart, you can feel very truly, and you can know the truth. And that's why Christ said to us, you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And so for all of us, whatever age, whatever kind of experience, we're all children. We are all children of God. We're all children of the light. We can know that truth. We can know that truth, and it will, in fact, make us free.